Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call our meeting to order this evening. It's meeting number 2023-1012R. Mr. Kavanaugh, are we streaming?
Yes, we are, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Kavanaugh. Tonight's our regular commission meeting, Thursday, October 12th. Our city attorney's musical selection. A lot of people here didn't hear it as good, but it's very fitting for this week with what the world needs now is love. So thank you, Madam City Attorney. Our city manager will pick the musical selection at our next meeting. Agenda item 13, which is an ordinance 2023-26 regarding an amendment to chapter 5 of the city's code of ordinances, which is the animal item, has been removed at the request of staff. It will not be heard. I'm going to ask everyone to please speak in the microphone when you're speaking and mute when you are not. Mr. Kavanaugh, could you call the roll of the city commission and executive staff?
Commissioner Wasserman,
Here.
Commissioner Brody,
Here.
Commissioner Raley,
Here.
Vice Mayor Welch,
Here.
Mayor Rydell.
Here.
City Manager Brooks.
Here.
City Attorney Pyber.
Here.
At this time, I'm going to ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and stay standing after. We're going to have a moment of silence for what's going on in Israel. And I know some of my colleagues wish to say a few words. So please. Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you. I do know some of my colleagues wish to make a comment about that. I'm going to turn to Commissioner Wasserman first in regarding some of the things that are going on globally and some of the thoughts we have about that. Commissioner Wasserman.
Thank you, Mayor. I kind of wanted to, I know we have a lot of residents in Coconut Creek who have connections to Israel, and I've been thinking about how last Friday at Shabbat, families were together. And I think about how tomorrow night at Shabbat, a lot of those families in Israel won't be together anybody And to the people watching and to the people here, if you are Jewish and you will be holding Shabbat tomorrow night, please think of everybody over there. And if not, please continue to reflect and think about the people that this is affecting on both sides. The innocent civilians on both sides it's important. And just I hope we have peace. I hope everybody can just go home to their families and live and have good lives. And I hope it across the world. Thank you.
Commissioner Brody.
So I don't think I've ever been more horrified by what I witnessed through this. As a combat veteran, there are lines you don't cross. And every single one of those lines have been crossed. And it's appalling. And my heart goes out to all the Israel people that are impacted by this, whether it's here in the United States or there. It's horrific, and it should never happen. And I hope they get what they deserve in retaliation, because it's embarrassing that you've been being to talk up here about this. We should never have to talk about these subjects in this manner in public. It should have never happened. And I hope they get what's coming.
Commissioner Riley.
Thank you. It's a very sad time for all of us. Even here at home in New York, in Florida, across the United States, everyone's worried about what's going to happen next. We have to keep in our thoughts and in our prayers all the victims, all the innocent victims of all the wars that are going on around this country, around this world. It's horrific at best. Our heart breaks for those that are suffering through this on both sides. And just know these are extremists. These are terrorists. These aren't the people that are living in these countries. They don't want this. These are the extremists that are bringing this upon their own. So please pray for everyone and the families that are here in the United States and all over the world that have loved ones on both sides. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
No, I'll just leave it on one note that we can very simply just pray and work towards peace for all.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And I'll just say this because I've seen some just terrible things on the news. I think my colleague said it best. The reality is this: you have terror in the world that affects us all. When you have these terrible things that our kids and our families are seeing on the news, it's absolutely terrible. I watched local people in our South Florida community that have lost loved ones. You know, I think Commissioner Brody really said it right in terms of lines you don't cross. And we all have to denounce terror. We all have to denounce hate. And that's really not acceptable in the world that we live in on so many levels. And this just reminds us of that. So, you know, you gotta stand with, you know, Israel on something that they are just being attacked. So that's something I think is important to address. And I appreciate that we were able to have a moment of silence just to say a couple words about that this evening. I'm going to have our city attorney briefly just explain our public comment, and then we'll jump right into the meeting. I do know we have our biggest item, which is a lot of people here for the employee milestones. We started it off with a somber note with what's going on in the world, but we're going to go now to something exciting, which is celebrating our best in the world employees. Madam City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. The material for today's meeting is available online at www.coconutcreek.net. Members of the public were advised in the notice for this meeting that they could address the City Commission by emailing comments not exceeding 400 words to commissioncomments@coconutcreek.net or by calling 954-973-6772 to leave up to a 3-minute comment on the city's dedicated public comment voicemail. The city provided a simple set of instructions explaining how the public may submit their comments, which were published in the notice and on the city's website. In addition to all live public comment presented at today's meeting, all public comments that were received by email or phone message prior to noon today will be included as part of the record for this meeting and will be considered by the City Commission before any action is taken.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. Our first presentation this evening, HR Director Kershaw, I'd invite you up. It's a presentation recognizing fourth quarter employee milestone anniversaries for 2023. Yeah.
Good evening. It is my pleasure and honor to recognize a group of employees who reached milestone years of service with the City of Coconut Creek during the past quarter. Several of them are here, so when I say your name, if you're here, if you would please stand up or give us a wave so we can recognize you. We have several who reached 5 years of service. Police Officer Amanda Cummings, back there. Bus driver Jimmy Laurent. And Senior Staff Assistant Daniela Thomas. Awesome. We also have a few who are not able to attend tonight who reached 5 years. So I'll name them and then we can give them one round of applause. From Parks and Recreation, Nicole Samsel. From the Police Department, Kelly Leach. From the Sustainable Development Department, Pam Reboin. And from Utilities and Engineering, Louis Kubasek. We have 3 employees who've reached 10 years of service. Unfortunately, they could not be here tonight, but we have from Parks and Recreation, Brian Smith, from the Police Department, School Resource Officer, George Jarbo, and from Sustainable Development, Dwayne Vanek. We have one employee who reached 25 years of service, and she also sends her regrets. From Parks and Recreation Superintendent Lenore Thomas. Now we have 2 biggies, and they're both here. 30 years of service during the past quarter. From the Finance and Administrative Services Department, our Senior Utility Billing Technician, Sharon Reed. And her beautiful family is here as well, including her daughter, Melissa, who works in Parks and Recreation. And also with 30 years of service from the Information Technology Department, our Administrative Assistant, Virginia Korstens. If you all would please come up, we'd love to take a group photo. You guys ready? Hold it fine. Thank you. I apologize. We also have two, they're not here tonight. They weren't able to make it, but we also have two employees who reached 15 years of service. Both from the police department, police sergeants Raphael Marin and Adam Martz. Thank you all for your dedicated service to the city. We really appreciate you.
With that going, they should. I agree. Yeah, it's a little. I gotta tell you, that was exciting. It was an exciting start. We're gonna go to item number 2. It's a proclamation recognizing October 2023 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I know Tracy's here. Whereas October marks the annual observance of National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is dedicated to increasing public knowledge about the importance of early detection of breast cancer to ensure that the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month message is heard by thousands of women, men, and their families. And whereas the American Cancer Society estimates 297,790 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed in the United States in 2023. And whereas through research, advocacy, significant advances have been made in the fight against breast cancer, including significant decreases in mortality during the past 2 decades. And whereas early detection through screening and increased awareness saves lives. And whereas the more than 4 million breast cancer survivors living in the United States today are a testament to courage, as well as the importance of promoting awareness about breast cancer, providing information, funding research, following recommended screening guidelines, and offering treatment to those who are affected. And whereas 65% of breast cancer cases are diagnosed at a localized stage, at which the 5-year survival rate is over 99%. And whereas for more than 50 years, the American Cancer Society Reach to Recovery program has been helping people cope with their breast cancer experience. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek proclaims October 2023 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we urge all residents, employees, and community members to join in this worthwhile cause to celebrate successes and memorialize lost battles. To accept the proclamation today, we have Tracy Milgram, one of our residents and founder of BRCA Strong. Tracy, please come on up. I'm going to present you the proclamation, and then we can also I'll give you a couple minutes as well. And I just want to highlight, Tracy, I'm sure you're going to say it, but we have an event that Tracy's hosting for some of our non-healthcare women in the city that she's going to be hosting this Saturday. And this Saturday is also the closest walk that we have for the American Cancer Society. Breast cancer is actually in Boca this weekend. And I'll be there, obviously, with my much better half, who's a survivor.
Two, three. Chip, you want to go? One, two, nine, three.
Thank you.
Got it. Thanks.
Good evening. Thank you, everybody, for having me here tonight and getting the honor of getting this proclamation from the city that really fights for BRCA Strong. I'm so honored to really live in this city and have the support that I have. This weekend, we have 36 women who are underinsured and uninsured getting mammograms. We are also providing self-breast examination by a nurse practitioner, as well as teaching women from the age of 18 and older how to do self-breast exams. You know, it's just not about October, and our city really knows that. And I really couldn't be more thankful again for the grants and allowing us to continue to educate. This month, we have a huge series on Instagram called Knowledge is Power with Sylvester. Thank you so much again to the city for giving us this opportunity to educate the community, just not on survivorship, but on provivorship, knowing your family history and knowing your risks. So thank you everybody here tonight. And I'm really honored to be here.
So Tracy, for some of my colleagues or anyone listening that doesn't know, first of all, Tracy's organization actually provides essentially care packages to women who are undergoing surgery, mastectomies, care packages, and what she does, and she actually provided.
You want me to do it?
Please.
So I provide pre-mastectomy care packages to women who are going in either with a diagnosis of breast cancer, again, who's a provider, which carries a hereditary mutation. These packages are essential for women. And for example, Josh and Jamie, you know, I spoke with them and what do we need? How do we get to be prepared? And that wasn't one of the things the doctors taught them. You know, it's not just about going through the treatment or going through the surgery, but it's how do we feel after and how do we support our loved ones and how do we make them feel whole again as all of us go through a new transition. So every dollar that comes into BRCA Strong is nobody gets paid in our organization. It goes to pre-mastectomy care packages. My daughter is 14 years old, who is the creator of BRCA Strong. She packages them every day. This year, she sent out 1,658 packages. She just entered Monarch High School. Obviously, her volunteer hours, we are always looking for volunteer hours, and we're always looking for help from our community, you know, just spreading that little piece of knowledge. And it's just not breast cancer, it's gynecological cancers, it's testicular cancer, it's all kinds of cancers. Even for the men are in this room, you know, men can get breast cancer too. And this Saturday, I want to say that for everybody that's in our city, I would love for you to stop by. We have a dumpster on Coconut Creek Parkway and Lyons Road that is pink. Hopefully Jamie and Josh will make it after their walk, just to sign it, send a note to your loved one, and it'll live on the dumpster for a year. It's something that Waistline has donated to BRCA Strong to make it in our community.
Thank you, Tracy. We're going to move on to item number 3, a proclamation recognizing October 2023 as National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And we have two of our favorite people that are going to be accepting that proclamation. Whereas the purpose of National Disability Employment Awareness Month is to educate about disability employment issues and celebrate the many and varied contributions of American workers with disabilities. And whereas the history of National Disability Employment Awareness Month traces back to 1945, when Congress enacted a law declaring the first week in October each year National Employ the Physically Handicapped Week. And whereas in 1962, the word physically was removed to acknowledge the employment needs and contributions of individuals with all types of disabilities. And whereas in 1988, Congress expanded the week to a month and change the name of National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And whereas studies have found that Americans with disabilities are especially productive and motivated workers, but they still have a harder time getting jobs, promotions, and fair pay. And whereas persons with disabilities are valued members of the city of Coconut Creek and deserve the opportunity to live and work in our community where they are respected and rewarded for their efforts, skills, and accomplishments. And whereas there is a rich network of nonprofit agencies, practitioners, consumer organizations, school divisions, and families committed to promoting and strengthening employment opportunities to persons with disabilities in the city of Coconut Creek. And whereas the city of Coconut Creek has students with disabilities receiving post-secondary education work, training, and job coaching through programs offered at Atlantic Tech, Monarch High School, and Broward College. And whereas National Disability Employment Awareness Month recognizes the individuals with disabilities are capable and contributing members to society worthy of full access and inclusion. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek hereby proclaims the month of October 2023 as National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Signed by myself, the Vice Mayor, and the rest of the City Commission, and attested to the clerk. I know we have Juliana and Gabriel here, and I want to say this real quick before I present this to you guys. And I know Gabriel has something to say. Juliana, you said something to me yesterday that really affected me, that about Gabriel speaking here today and the importance of that. And it really rang true to me. And I appreciate you saying that. Just the opportunity, what she highlighted to me is the fact that Gabriel's here and he has a speech prepared, and the importance of just that as a skill in this. And I didn't get that. So I want to just thank you for opening my eyes to that. And Gabriel, I look forward to what you have to say. So I'd like us all to go down and give this to you guys. And then I know Gabriel has something to say. So if we may, can I present this to you?
Ready? All right. We switch. Maybe smile. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Please see that.
Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gabriel Escobar. I am a student from Monarch High. Also, I am an intern at the DoubleTree by Hilton and an advocate and an autism about there. More to make a difference in the community. I want to thank the City Commission for this proclamation and for giving the opportunity at educate you about to disability employment. Do you know that only 21% of people with a disability in the U.S. were employment in 2022, according with the U.S. Department of Labor? Very sad, right? Yes, it is. National Disability Employment Awareness Month aims to raise awareness about the employment justice faced by people with disabilities and promotes inclusion and equal job opportunities. Give us a chance. It's our right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you and great job, Gabriel. We're going to go to item number 4. It's a proclamation recognizing October 14th, 2023 as Coconut Creek E-Waste Day. I turn to Commissioner Raley.
Thank you.
Really, not Riley.
Rayleigh. Thank you. I didn't hear Riley last night, but okay, here we go. Whereas Coconut Creek recognizes the importance of protecting and preserving our natural resources and working to make the world a better place by adapting conscientious living habits that will improve our daily lives and bring about a cleaner, safer, and healthier environment. And whereas Coconut Creek has undertaken many positive and successful waste reduction programs that have helped make Coconut Creek one of Florida's recycling leaders. However, we can further reduce electronic waste, e-waste, and recycle even more electronics. And whereas, although there has been a significant increase in the amount of recycling in Coconut Creek today, we must continue to focus on other electronic waste initiatives, such as electronic waste reduction, electronic waste collection events, electronic waste educational materials for our community, the reuse of electronic products and materials, and purchasing recycled or post-consumer electronic products and packaging. And whereas by encouraging businesses, state agencies, nonprofit organizations, schools, and individuals to celebrate Coconut Creek E-Waste Day, we can further promote electronic recycling as an environmentally efficient and economically smart way of life. And whereas local community leaders can help encourage recycling by informing citizens about the importance of buying recycled electronic products, and they can also help foster greater awareness about current collection programs, such as household hazardous waste collection events, and the need to expand collection programs for recyclable goods and materials by promoting the benefits of recycling investments for businesses. And whereas it is important that all Coconut Creek residents become involved in e-waste recycling activities and learn more about the many recycled products and packaging available to them as consumers. It is also fitting for Coconut Creek to celebrate National E-Waste Day to help ensure a safe and healthy environment and an improved quality of life for present and future generations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, hereby proclaims October 14th, 2023 as Coconut Creek E-Waste Day in the City of Coconut Creek and encourages all residents and business owners to recycle electronic products. Signed by the mayor, the vice mayor, and city commissioners. Thank you. I almost got through it without one error.
I know, Commissioner Raley, we have a young activist here this evening that I'm going to invite up to the podium. And I'd ask you first, Commissioner Raley, if you want to present the proclamation. Ms. Gupta, do you want to come on up and accept it?
Thank you. You ready? Take one more. Thank you.
So first of all, I give you a lot of credit for reaching out and getting this done. And we thank you for your activism, because I think I speak for all of us when we say, if our younger generation is as active as you, I think we're all going to be in good hands. So I turn the microphone over to you, young lady.
Thank you. So my name is Anya, and I'm from Boca Raton, Florida, and I've been passionate about ocean conservation since I was 4. And so recently, a couple of years ago, I came across the topic of e-waste or electronic waste, and I realized how detrimental it can be to our environments, but how unknown of an issue it is. And so I've made it my mission to raise awareness about this unknown issue, because it really does make a huge impact. And by raising awareness, that makes a huge impact too. And I'd like to thank my mom for helping me email the proclamation out and getting this all set up. And I'd like to thank you guys for making this possible.
Thank you. I think you brought some very important light to a very good issue. So we thank you for that. We're going to move on to item number 5. It's a proclamation recognizing October 23rd to October 31st, 2023 as Red Ribbon Week. I turn to the Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Whereas communities across America have been plagued by the numerous problems associated with illicit drug use and the trafficking of drugs, and whereas the Red Ribbon Campaign was established by Congress in 1988 to encourage a drug-free lifestyle and involvement in drug prevention and reduction efforts. And whereas there is hope in winning the war on drugs, and that hope lies in education and drug demand reduction, coupled with the hard work and determination of organizations such as the Young Marines of the Marine Corps League to foster a healthy, drug-free lifestyle. And whereas governments and community leaders know that citizen support is one of the most effective tools in the effort to reduce the use of illicit drugs in our communities. And whereas the red ribbon has been chosen as a symbol commemorating the work of Enrique Kiki Camarena, a Drug Enforcement Administration agent who was murdered in the line of duty, and represents the belief that one person can make a difference. And whereas October 23rd through 31 has been designated as National Red Ribbon Week, which encourages Americans to wear a red ribbon to show the support for a drug-free environment. Now therefore be it resolved, the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida hereby proclaims October 23rd through 31st, 2023 as Red Ribbon Week in the City of Coconut Creek, and encourages all citizens to join this special observation to keep our community safe, healthy, and drug-free. It's signed by the mayor, the commission, and attested by our city clerk. Is someone here?
Yes, absolutely. I believe Melissa Sowers here. Melissa, please come on up. I'm going to have the Vice Mayor present the proclamation, and then the floor is yours. Absolutely.
Okay, we've got 2 photos. You ready? All right, now we One, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. The Young Marines is a nonprofit 501c3 youth organization for boys and girls from age 8 to the completion of high school. We have over 300 units across the U.S., over 10,000 youth, and 3,000 adult volunteers enrolled in our program. The mission of the Young Marines is to positively impact America's future by providing quality youth development programs for boys and girls that nurtures and develops its members into responsible citizens who enjoy and promote a healthy drug-free lifestyle. It takes a community to raise children into leaders. And with your support with this proclamation, it shows our Young Marines that the City of Coconut Creek stands behind them and supports their efforts to spread the words to just say no. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. All right, we're going to turn now to input from the public. 3 minutes per person on non-agenda items. Mr. Kavanaugh, did anyone submit any previous comments electronically or telephonically?
No, they did not, Mayor.
Anyone sign in this evening?
Yes.
Okay.
Lourdes Maderos signed in.
Ms. Medeiros, please come on up. 3 minutes, the floor is yours.
Lourdes Maderos, 921 Northwest 42nd Avenue, Coconut Creek, Florida, 33066. Good evening. I'm here to speak to you about decorum and citizen engagement. At the September 28 commission meeting, my husband and I remained until the meeting adjourned. That was just 4 minutes shy of 10 p.m. We stayed to hear your updates out of respect for your motivation to inform us, your residents, what you deem to be important highlights of the work that you have recently performed in your districts and for your city holistically without time restrictions. Mayor Rydell, you requested a consensus to discuss the development of a decorum policy. I want to thank you for wanting to establish a decorum policy, a robust one. Decorum by definition simply means proper behavior. A decorum policy sets expectations and more. so those speaking or addressing a topic or item are free of slander, threats of violence, intimidation, or abuse. For example, proper behavior in a trial means behaving formally with an emphasis on courtesy. This helps protect our rights. Thank you, Commissioner Brody and Commissioner Raley, for addressing your concerns about restriction time and free speech. I'm here to oppose what I see as a clear restriction of civil liberties with what was presented for consensus to discuss by restricting time and representation. Free speech and public discourse that thoughtfully and purposefully is designed for the good of the community should be welcomed. A decorum policy should preserve that. Not only should it preserve commissioners, but it should protect residents as well. If it is your intention to protect the commissioners, then setting the standards should be your motivation for protecting your residents, not duplicating another city's decorum policy just because you like it, or because you don't like the situation that may present itself without one to your convenience. While I understand sitting at a commission meeting until 2:30 a.m. is not your intention, believe me, it's not the ideal situation for residents like us who are there with you. In all honesty, I listened to the September 28 commission meeting several times to make sure I accurately processed what you were requesting as a means for more robust decorum policy that eventually would include limiting or eliminating the ability to yield time. I'm disappointed, Mayor Rydell, that you as an officer of the court who represents individuals' rights regularly would consider restricting not only time, but the ability for someone or a group of residents who wish to yield their time in the hope of achieving effective representation while they're present in the commission meeting chambers. I understand you have spoken to other mayors who have adopted such a resolution, one that sends a strong message to your constituency, that residents should be treated as children, maybe not heard and only seen. Please make no mistake, this is not designed to attack you, but to provide you with a perspective in hopes that it will guide your thought process as you attempt to impose a decorum rules under the guise of civility. I surely believe that this is not your intention. If it is a true decorum policy that you wish to seek to build, then stick to the rules of behavior, not impose restrictions on civil liberties. Restricting time and ability to yield time is no different than taking individuals' rights to decide how they wish to be represented. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here wish to speak publicly on any item? Seeing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. Do any of my colleagues wish to call anything on the consent agenda? Bullet? I'll read 6 and 7. I need a motion and a second thereafter. Item number 6 is a motion approving the minutes from previous city commission meeting 2023-0913WS, 2023-0914SP, and 2023-0914R. Item number 7 is resolution 2023-175, a resolution accepting the Edward Ryan Memorial Justice Assistance Grants JAG in the amount of $7,080 and authorizing the mayor designee to execute the agreement with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for simulator training equipment. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Wasserman, second by Commissioner Raley. Mr. Kavanaugh, call the roll on the consent agenda.
Commissioner Wasserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Brody,
Yes.
Commissioner Raley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Welch,
Yes.
Mayor Rydell.
Yes. We're going to move to our regular agenda. It's resolution 2023-122. Resolution authorizing the city manager designee to execute 2 consulting services work authorizations with Walter Zachariah Associates, PLLC, to provide 1, programming and schematic design for services for the future fire station number 113 and fire administration offices, and 2, the renovation and expansion of existing police department building. The 2 work authorizations total $142,660, and the selection is pursuant to RFQ number 10-62111. Is there a motion and a second?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor Welch, seconded by Commissioner Wasserman. Our Director of Public Works will make the report.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. The temporary fire station 113 was completed in 2021. The same year, the city terminated its fire services agreement with the city of Margate and formed its own fire department. The fire administration offices are currently located in a leased building. The growth and creation of the Coconut Creek Fire Department have resulted in the need for more resilient and permanent facilities. Additionally, the city's police department has outgrown its current facility. Based on the direction of the city commission, staff is evaluating the potential to expand this facility here at Government Center. The 2 proposed work authorizations with Walter Zachariah and Associates are to develop concept plans to address the needs of both fire and police departments. Mr. Alan Fertel is here tonight to represent Walter Zachariah and Associates. Sorry. The fire department work authorization will develop a conceptual plan for the construction, of a permanent fire station with a redundant server room and a fire administration offices on the city's owned 10-acre parcel adjacent to Monarch High School in a manner that will maximize the property for future use. The police department work authorization is to develop a concept plan for the expansion and reconfiguration of the existing building to accommodate the current and future space needs of the police department. The staff split the two into separate work authorizations so that each scope can be evaluated and managed separately. And these work authorizations will update the building program information, create a conceptual plan to determine the footprint of the fire and police department facilities. Additionally, the consultant will provide budget level cost estimates to support future infrastructure decisions. The performance period for both work authorizations is 4 months. This concludes my brief. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Harry. And I turn to the city commission. I got the vice mayor. Vice mayor.
I'm not going to ask again. So I already brought it up in agenda meeting, but I just wanted to put it in public record. So the earliest expected construction on the fire station 113 and the administration would be 2025.
Correct, approximately. We had to select some years to base the budget estimate and then escalate from there on out. So,
and noting that the work will include the utilities and however many number of floors it will take to accommodate those two facilities, and that they will not take up that entire 10-acre space and what will be planned for the acreage that is not utilized for those two buildings.
that is a good question, and it's not within the scope of what I was tasked to do at this time. So it's still up for decision by the city leadership of what will the best use of that property be. But our task is to minimize the use as much as possible.
That makes sense. And part of the utilities is reclaimed water is designated for all of Main Street. Are we planning to accept the responsibility for that reclaimed water line?
That's something I can't answer at this time, and it's outside of more information.
The developer of the Main Street project area is responsible for the installation of the reclaim services.
I think that's important to put that on record, right? And the police expansion, same thing. It could be multiple floors.
Correct. We're limited with the space we have here in Government Center. So we'll look at that apparatus bay area and determine how many floors we need in a Cat 5 rated facility to meet the police requirements.
And earliest expected construction for it is about
25, 26, depending. There's quite a bit of planning that has to go forward.
Okay.
Yeah, and it depends on availability of funding, and there's many variables involved.
Well, it's all very exciting and very much needed. So thank you very much.
I have a couple questions, Harry. Thank you. And I guess question number one is we're approving a consulting agreement with, in theory, the fire portion of this, that there hasn't been clear direction by the city commission on that, right?
No,
I guess my question is this. It's not a public safety complex.
correct.
We've talked about executive offices versus different components of that. I don't think there's been like crystal clear, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think there's been crystal clear direction on that portion of things. Sandy?
Well, I thought we decided, since we didn't have a consensus to go out for a GO bond for the public safety complex, that it was designated to construct only 113, and the fire administration offices alone.
No, I agree. I guess the question I have is agreeing that we're not doing the public safety complex. I guess I didn't think, if I'm wrong, that we gave clear direction saying it's going to be a fire station and executive offices as opposed to the cost of a fire station. That's really my question. I think we talked about that. I don't know if there was direct consensus to say build the double. That's what I'm just, unless I'm missing something. Was there clear consensus on that?
I believe there was clear consensus on it. We are leasing space for our fire administration at this time. There's no other place to put them than with the fire station. that we're building permanently.
Okay, I didn't think that was crystal clear. So, I mean,
In the end, this will provide us the data and information and cost estimate for a combined facility.
okay,
If the later decision is to not include a component, then when we go forward with the design, we task the designer with
okay,
not.
that's kind of
constructing
what I'm getting at. And the same thing is true for the City Hall project.
that. Correct.
Okay, now the other thing, I just need you to explain it to me. You're coming in about the same ballpark as the cost of the public safety complex,
It's
about 20
approximately-
grand different.
Correct.
I just explain it to me that we have we're doing two projects now for essentially the same cost.
This is only a concept plan, which identifies the type and the square footage, which
I get it.
would have had to been done for whether it was one complex or another. So now instead of laying out the full public safety complex, now we're just analyzing, looking at this facility over here and only looking at building a smaller facility on the 10 acres.
So I guess the reason I'm asking this is it brings me to kind of the point I'm asking is we're getting a better deal at this point that we're looking and specing two projects under the same umbrella for a little more money. Is that fair?
A better deal.
I mean, listen, it went from one public safety complex to now we're getting consulting work on two conceptual designs. That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around.
Right. The scale is just it's the same scale. It's just at two different facilities. Yeah.
Well, I think the rehab on City Hall is a unique component as well, because it's not ground up building.
Correct.
It's a reno. Right?
Correct. Well, it's a renovation plus an addition, a large addition.
Okay. That was originally I saw it and I didn't understand how the numbers work. And then I analyzed the numbers. And I think the reason that you guys picked them is they came in very competitive in terms of kind of a two project deal with what we were about to spend on just the public safety complex as a whole.
Mhm.
But that's how I was looking at it. Okay. I don't have anything. Anyone else? Mr. Kavanaugh.
Commissioner Wasserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Brody,
Yes.
Commissioner Raley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Welch,
Yes.
Mayor Rydell.
Yes. Item number 9, resolution 2023-174, a resolution approving the Andros Village Neighborhood Association application for matching grant funds from the Neighborhood Enhancement Grant Program for security enhancements. I need a motion in a second.
Move it.
Second.
It's moved by Vice Mayor Welch, seconded by Commissioner Brody. Mr. Stoudemire, Director of Sustainable Development, will make the report.
Mr. Mayor, at this point, I'd like to recuse myself because of my association with Winmar.
Understood. Madam City Attorney, please note that Commissioner Raley is recusing herself from the vote this evening based on the relationship to the entity Winmore. You got that, Daryl?
Yes, thank you.
Scott, go ahead,
You ready?
please.
Okay, good evening. This is, of course, a resolution approving neighborhood enhancement grant for the Andros Village Neighborhood Association. They are seeking $10,000 in matching funds for a security project, which of course is consistent with the program guidelines. Staff is recommending approval. This is the first neighborhood enhancement grant award of the new fiscal year. That concludes my report.
Yeah, it is the new fiscal year. Anyone any questions, comments? Vice Mayor.
Only because when we had the first roundtable at the township, we were there was communicated it was 180,000 in the pot. I see there's 195,000. Is that, we don't roll that over from what wasn't used before, right? 195 is the total.
195 is the total. We do not roll over. We start afresh.
Got it.
Anything else? Mr. Kavanaugh.
Commissioner Wasserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Brody,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Welch,
Yes.
Mayor Rydell.
Yes. Item number 10, resolution 2023-155. Jackie's back. A resolution authorizing the city manager designate executing consulting services work authorization with Carnahan, Proctor, and Crossing for professional engineering services related to the Hillsborough Boulevard redevelopment shared use pathway in accordance with RFQ number 3252002 as part of the Hillsborough Corridor redevelopment area phase 1 public improvements. I need a motion in a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Raley, seconded by Commissioner Wasserman. I turn to our Director of Sustainable Development to direct the report.
Good evening again. Of course, this is a work authorization for Carnahan Proctor for engineering services related to our public improvement project for the Hillsborough corridor. Of course, this is the project that was approved as part of the Broward Redevelopment Program grant. And we actually had to pause that project. This project got a little complicated with regards to working with DOT and Broward County. Of course, the project is on the north side. This is a pedestrian enhancement, a multipurpose pathway on the north side of Hillsborough, and it does meander in and out of the county preserves. It is in DOT right of way, and there were some unanticipated complexities associated with this. We did a pause. We've worked through some issues. We are ready to move forward. This work authorization gives us pre-construction, construction, post-construction services that are needed to get this done and get us over the hurdle. We will be ready to go. Of course, we did secure an extension to our interlocal agreement for the Broward Redevelopment Program grant funds for an additional 2 years to give us the time to get through this. So we are ready to go. We do have Dan Tinter here from Carnahan Proctor if there are any questions, and I'm happy to answer it.
Thank you, Scott. Members of the commission, do you have any questions or comments? This is part of the grant, Scott?
Yes.
Thank you. That's my only question. Just it's a wrong with the grant. Thank you. Anyone else?
Nope. Good
Mr.
to go.
Kavanaugh, call the roll. Item 10.
Commissioner Wasserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Brody,
Yes.
Commissioner Raley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Welch,
Yes.
Mayor Rydell.
Yes. Returning to item number 11, it's an ordinance 2023-029. It is a second reading. It is a public hearing. Madam City Attorney, read the title.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, accepting the conveyance of title from 4211 SP LLC to form portions of the right-of-way of Northwest 74th Street, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. I need a motion in a second.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Wasserman, second by Commissioner Brody. Scott, you're up again.
Yes, good evening. Of course, this is second reading. It went very smoothly last time. We have recorded deed in hand. I did not ask the applicant to attend this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for clarifying that. At this time, I'm going to open the public hearing. The public hearing is now open. Does anyone here wish to speak on the public hearing in person? Mr. Kavanaugh, has anyone submitted a comment regarding the public hearing?
No, they have not, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Kavanaugh. Anyone else before I close it? Public hearing is now closed. Members of the commission, anyone have any questions on second reading for staff? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Kavanaugh, call the roll on the ordinance.
Commissioner Wasserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Brody,
Yes.
Commissioner Raley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Welch,
Yes.
Mayor Rydell.
Yes, ordinance number 2023-031 is a first reading, is an ordinance. Madam City Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, authorizing the mayor or designee to execute the First Amendment to the lease agreement between the City of Coconut Creek and T-Mobile South LLC to upgrade equipment within the existing leased space and within concealed canisters on the city's telecommunications tower located at the community center, subject to all other terms and conditions provided therein, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. I need a motion in a second.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Wasserman, second by Commissioner Brody. It's a busy night for you, Scott. Batter up.
Okay. Of course, yes, this is an ordinance approving the First Amendment to the lease for T-Mobile located at the community center. Most of you may recall, or some of you may recall, this was a complete drop and swap project, which the initial lease truly reflects. They are now back for their First Amendment, where they are merely swapping out equipment. They are putting no additional load on the tower, so there is no proposed rent increase associated with this amendment. However, the amended lease does look a little bit busy because the original lease was it reflected more of the drop and swap, the construction, turning the tower back over to the city. So it has, through this First Amendment, we've also sort of cleaned it up to conform to our traditional lease format with our tenants. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anyone have anything? Commissioner Brody.
Obviously, since this is my wheelhouse. There's been a lot of things going on at T-Mobile. And my concern is the oversight on this project. If you guys haven't noticed, there's been a ton of layoffs at T-Mobile. And my concern is the proper I guess, babysitting of this project, construction manager, project managers and such. I want to make sure that they understand that they're going to be responsible, just like I was when I put the first tower up, of all the damage and everything on there, and make sure they understand the scope of work and making sure that it's returned to the state it is in right now. Just want to put that on record because I went through, as we know, a little bit of work on that driveway when it was first built. And so I just want to make sure that T-Mobile understands that we want to make sure that that construction manager is on site during this project.
Duly noted, and we will make all assurances that that is taken care of.
I see her nodding her head back there, so.
Yes, I should point out that Elizabeth from Cityscape is here in attendance to answer any questions as well.
You got anything you want to add? No. You're here. I hate to say it. Can you just come up to the microphone, please, and identify yourself, because people like to listen to meetings.
Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Smith with Cityscape Consultants, and
you.
we're the wireless telecommunication consultant for the city. We have worked with Eve Lewis and on the lease itself, and we are overseeing the actual construction of the changing out of the equipment. So we will monitor that real close.
So are you guys in charge of the project management of that, or is it going to be somebody out of T-Mobile proper?
Well, it is a contractor that they have not submitted their permit into permitting at this point. So I'm not exactly sure who that's going to be. The leasing side is through their legal department.
Okay. As long as they understand the difficulties that's been on that site. So.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yes.
being here. Madam City Attorney, my only question is for you. Has our in-house legal expert taken a look at this?
Yes, she did. As Ms. Smith just pointed out, Eve Lewis took a look at this, reviewed it, and it wouldn't be on the agenda if she didn't okay it.
That's all I needed to hear, the value she gives us on.
In other words, boy, did she.
Fitting comment, Mr. Director. Anyone else?
I think she gets paid extra to do that.
It's a hard subject matter too.
Yeah, I know. It just.
No, I say it's like the driest subject matter any lawyer could want to deal with.
No, she finds great energy
Agreed.
in the FCC, the 5G, the whole topic. And I'm just still stunned and amazed and applauding that she brought the careers, telecommunications careers and the FCC folks here in Coconut Creek, Junior Achievement. I mean, it's incredible. Her involvement in this has no limits. I'm just saying.
And if I could just clarify for the record, she does that as a volunteer.
An appropriate clarification. Commissioner Wasserman.
No, I find it very unique that Commissioner Brody, you built this tower and here we are voting on upgrading it. Very, very cool. Very cool.
I have several statues in my existence along the whole Florida.
I'd like to see a picture before I give you accolades.
Oh, I got pictures.
Well, I just want to know, did you write your name in the concrete when it was poured?
There is a JAB somewhere on that site. I'm just going to say that.
I can't. Mr. Kavanaugh, call the roll.
Commissioner Wasserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Brody,
Yes.
Commissioner Raley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Welch,
Yes.
Mayor Rydell.
Yes. We've announced previously that we're postponing item number 13. The item 13 is postponed at the request of staff. We're going to turn to our reports. I turn to our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to report that the governor has put out an order that activated the National Guard and the State Guard for 60 days in light of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It provides for the Florida Division of Emergency Management to bring Floridians home from Israel and transport supplies to Israel. There's expected to be a demonstration tomorrow at 4 p.m. At Miami's Freedom Tower, FYI. And Miami-Dade County is going to partially activate their EOC, their Emergency Operations Center, and Broward County is standing by. So I want to just give you that update. This past week, Broward County set the public hearing for Waste Management's land use plan amendment to expand the landfill for January 16th. So we will be preparing appropriately for that meeting. And finally, I wanted to wish Commissioner Welch a very happy birthday today, and Commissioner Brody. Just kidding. A very happy birthday for next week.
That was great, by the way. If only Wayne Toby was here to see it. Thank you, Madam Brooks. City Attorney report.
I would also like to wish Vice Mayor Welch a happy birthday today and Commissioner Brody a happy birthday on the 17th in advance. Also, you probably saw, but just in case you didn't, I sent out an email this morning with another update on the West Flagler versus Department of the Interior case having to do with the Seminole Compact, that they are asking for, again, a motion to stay the DC District Court's ruling while their writ of cert is pending in the U.S. Supreme Court. So stay tuned.
Wasn't it granted?
I'm sorry?
It was granted today, wasn't it?
I did not see that. So you may have some additional information.
I think, Chief Justice Ross, I mean,
So the motion to stay was
I
granted?
believe the motion to stay was granted by the
Okay.
Chief Judge.
So, all right. So then you already even have more advanced information than I do.
I
My
mean,
apologies.
I just looked at it. I'm being candid
Perfect.
with you. I looked at a news update on my phone when we were in the Bassner meeting, but I
Okay.
believe late this, you were sitting with us. I think
Perfect.
late this afternoon, there was actually a stay granted by the Supreme Court, which is
So.
candidly a little unbelievable. I mean, it's there, but
So what that means basically is that the Seminoles cannot engage in the online sports betting until this goes through the Supreme Court, the writ of cert, the appeal, basically. So stay tuned. That could take several months or even years, depending. But it sounds like if they did that, then most likely
Take it
the
up.
Supreme Court is planning to take it up. So, so anyhow, so that, again, only because we do get some monies from the state compact on that, I thought that was important to note.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I just wanted to say that Eve Lewis and I spoke at the Florida Association of Police Attorneys Conference last week in Daytona Beach. I got a little sinus infection, but I'm not contagious. Anyhow, that's why I'm wearing the mask to protect you all. But it was a wonderful experience, and thank you for your support in allowing us to do that.
Commissioner Wasserman.
All right. So I appreciate you bringing up the plaza on the north end when you last meeting, the Hillsborough Plaza, because the one on the south end, you know, the Coconut Creek Plaza with the Publix, there's this building parcel that is on Coconut Creek Parkway that is just rotting away daily. It's an eyesore. I don't know what we can do as a city to this, but I think it needs to be looked at. There must be some animals living in there. I don't know what's going on in there, but I really like us to look into it and see what we can do. You know, I don't know what you can do. Can you tell me what you can do?
So if it's, we could maybe look at code enforcement.
Let's start there. Thank you. Was able to go to Chabad on Tuesday. It was so nice to be with people who needed to be together on Tuesday night. It was very special to be there on Coconut Creek Parkway, just across from Winmore. And you know, I said what I had to say earlier. Jamie's room yesterday. I'm sure everybody up here will talk about it. How just a special time. The love, there was so much love in the air there, and everybody, it was just very special. Shout out to Dwayne Toby. Also, I want to say, former Mayor Tooley, you're in my thoughts and prayers. I know, I hope you're doing okay. I know she had surgery earlier this week. I hope that she's okay. And we're thinking about you. And as I've just reached over 6 months here on the dais, I got to tell you, I am enamored with what I'm able to do up here. Our city, our staff, our commission. I'm just so grateful to be here with you and to have the ability to have a voice, to have an ear, and to be a neighbor to our residents. It's just so incredible. And I felt so much love and energy up here today. It was just very special. And just wanted to say thanks to everybody, and let's keep the train moving. Thank you.
Commissioner Brody.
So thank you very much for the happy birthdays there. It's not often you get to turn 31. So I had a good chance with the police of going out and having some good times and laughing over a couple of ride-alongs. We have an amazing group of officers that are in the field out there, and they did such a wonderful job. I got to learn how to do pullovers and how they approach cars and all that fun stuff. They took me over to the butterfly lot and practiced that stuff, showed me how to approach a car, how to get away from a car, and all the stuff that goes into keeping them safe on the street and when they pull over, especially in the nighttime cruise, because you can't see really well. So it was really cool to kind of see how they operate. I did get to see a couple pullovers, and I am absolutely floored about how polite our guys are. That's amazing. They approached the car and they were very polite and spoke to them. They identified who they were. Told them why they were being approached, and it ended up being quite a pleasant experience. If I got pulled over like that, I would lovely take that ticket, because you guys were so polite. It was crazy. So it just shows the quality of people that we have out in the field protecting us, and I'm really appreciative. I got 2 more ride-alongs to go on. I'm going to do some day shifts. So you guys will see me be bopping around in a car, being safe. Friday night is the FIL basketball game where we're going to go. The special needs program here in our city is going to go and smoke the police officer in a game of basketball. And, Butch was so scared he didn't even show up tonight. But it's going to be a great event. It's the same place as the foodie truck, so you can come watch the game and get some food outside and kind of enjoy the Friday night. I think it's a wonderful kind of combination and a wonderful thing we do for that organization. On Sunday, we have the pony jail and bail. Now, I need all the help I can get because I got to beat the mayor. We're competing. We'll be in separate stables. But I want to make sure I outdo the mayor this time. And so I need all the help I can get. If you're listening to this, you can go online and
Good luck.
You can't pay for yourself, man. That's cheating.
I haven't paid $1 yet, Commissioner Brody.
Ugh.
So that hasn't come yet. So.
You got to donate to me then. That's what that means. So yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Come on out. And it's a great organization. If you don't know what they are, they help families in need of a loss of a loved one. They did a lot during the Stoneman Douglas with the families. So it's a wonderful organization. And I'm very proud to be a part of it. So also, I just want to let you know, Mayor, I'll be there Saturday. I'm on Jamie's team. So I'll be there with you. So I'm supporting, Jamie and everything and what goes along with that. So I'll be out there bright and early. We used to call it B&E when I was in the Army. So I'll be there B&E. Probably not happy because it is B&E. But I will be there to support you and your wife.
Happy birthday, Commissioner Welch. Happy, healthy birthday. Commissioner Brody.
31.
Yeah, right. But happy birthday. Okay, no, really, happy, healthy birthday to both of you. I do want to say there's been a campaign in Broward County about takehearttest.com. This is a test that's offered free. Broward County has allocated $10 million for people to take this. It's like a cardio MRI, basically, is what it is. It has saved, literally, actually, Jay was here earlier, one of the residents of Winmore. A lot of the residents around have taken it. I'm putting it out there because the city residents should take advantage of it. Please. It has saved lives, literally. I know you've heard Commissioner Bogan on TV promoting this. Trust me, one of my officers on Winmore Board of Directors literally saved his life. He went for the test. They took him right to the hospital and had open heart surgery. That's how bad it was. He's doing well, thank God. And this isn't just an isolated case. This has happened. So please, if any resident is hearing this now, it's takehearttest.com. Please. I want to thank our Coconut Creek PD, the best around. They've actually come into the community of Winmore these days. actually on request. So, but I see a change in our traffic patterns already. Even, yeah, just the knowledge that you have the ability to be there. So thank you for that. Again, actually, last Sunday, I also witnessed our EMS service come in and save one of the residents at the restaurant in Winmore. Thank you. They're there within, it seems like seconds. I don't even think it's minutes. It's amazing. Again, thank you. Jamie's room. That a tragedy can generate so much love and togetherness is amazing. It was just such a feel-good night. And the parents, God bless them, just amazing. I don't know how you survive that and how you get over that, but God bless the family. At the township meeting, there was a gentleman there representing Flock camera systems. It's a camera system that connects with our police department license plate readers. It's live. So we're looking into that too. Great thing to have, especially in today's atmosphere. So thank you all. On a lighter note, Cheesecake Factory. They're starting their training dinners in the beginning of November. So everybody's looking forward to that. But again, I don't know, John, I may leave you in that stable for a very long time, but thank you for doing that. That's great. And I'll see you tomorrow night at the basketball games. Okay. Thank you. And Josh, stay strong, babe. You got this.
Vice Mayor.
Okay. I wanted to start off with a thank you from one of the residents in regard to our SOR Laura at Tradewinds for the student incident that occurred yesterday. And I'll actually just read it, that she deserves recognition. They saw her at the school and how amazing a job she did with all the parents coming up to her with questions and answering their questions and keeping it in a safe, stable environment, even in that kind of situation that had occurred there at Tradewinds. So I hope she gets some sort of internal recognition. Hint, hint, wink, wink, Deputy Chief. When we were out of state, I did see, and before we went there, I even saw these, and I wonder if there's some way that we can incorporate them in our city. They're floating solar panels. We did see them when we went down to Pinecrest at the Miami-Dade Airport, and then we saw them along some of the developments on our driving trip up to the Midwest and back. And it's just a unique concept, and it wouldn't interrupt anyone, especially if it's a water body that isn't utilized by recreation or other types of products. I just thought it was an interesting concept. The Township Roundtable, the first public safety roundtable that was held, both fire and police chief were there, plus a huge contingency of fire and police representatives. It was just almost overwhelming. And the TCMA administrator said that she wasn't able to be there. She had a medical concern, that 39 residents or presidents of the villages had RSVP'd, but only 20 of them showed. So I challenged them to ensure that if there was a next one, because this was a pilot, that's all Karen would promise, that we ensure that more people come to take advantage of all the amazing information and data, not just fake truth from social media, real incidents that happen within the township, and then how they can help be a better part of that community in their regard proactively. So I just want to thank you for doing that. Now, on a downer note, at this week's solid waste executive board meeting, in which the executive committee was selected or nominated by large, middle, and small cities, I had my stump speech all ready in representation for our 62,000 residents of Coconut Creek, and we weren't allowed to give stump speeches. It went by nomination only, and I was in the runoff for the alternate, and our neighboring Parkland commissioner got that seat. So we no longer have a seat at the table for this most critical time for what could likely happen. And there were people new on that executive board that had never been to meetings. Never. And
Sandy, if I could ask you, what's the process of, like, when are these terms up? When could we advocate to try to get on it?
well, 2 years. It's a 2-year term. And I mean, it was extremely disheartening. I was very much prepared to say that I had been as an alternate, had attended each and every meeting except one, but all of the preceding meetings leading up to the solid waste working group even occurring, I'd been to all those meetings. And not even given that our city is the closest to this very large landfill in the north part of the county, only separated by currently 6 lanes of turnpike. I mean, it was amazing. It was extremely disheartening. I actually couldn't believe it. And it was sort of clear that that it was already a set slate by nomination.
Nomination and vote.
And only your label of populated cities could vote. So it wasn't that the entire governing board voted. All the large cities voted amongst themselves, and all the middle cities voted amongst themselves, as well as the small cities. So, I mean, that's all I'll say on that. But the one good thing that did come of it was the provider for the composting, the company name Filthy Organics, spoke, and how that they are servicing currently the city of Deerfield Beach for their pilot project of 100 residents. They sign up, register for this project. And Coral Springs, I understand, is now doing it with a drop off at their city hall. So I'm hoping, okay, that we can get a consensus that we can look into this too. We still don't have the motor that is going to make our glass crusher and screening possible. So while we're waiting on that, I was hoping we could at least do something. And one of the residents that was here tonight as an ambassador spoke to me, and he had 2 requests as far as the 2 drop-off centers. Until we really can hype up and get our education campaign going for the 2 recycle drop-off centers that we have now, that could we post it in the recreation centers and include it in the flyers that we are sending out with our water bills? I said, I don't know if anybody reads that information, but we can't, whatever it takes, can we do it? So I told him I would request it on his behalf. We had our first teen political forum meeting, and it was very robust. 39 students signed up and 30 showed. Now, this is the planning. I said, we thought maybe they thought they were coming to the event, because we never had that many students show up, but they came and they got right in the mix, didn't they? I think it's really going to be an excellent, I don't know where we're going to be. It doesn't matter. I just think the students are really in it this year to win it. And Broward Prep wasn't able to come. So it was all of the other schools except them. And even those that had transportation issues. And I know we're going to try to find an alternative to get the Coconut Creek High and Dave Thomas students that did sign up so that they're able to come, and that doesn't encumber it. It gets a level playing field for all of the students in all of the high schools. MPO meeting had a very short agenda, and as usual, the things that were interesting came at the end. And there were only like 6 of us that were there. What do I call us? The long haulers, Josh? So one of them, the lady came, she spoke about the rapid transit and how it differed from the others. And she was usually using models from Atlanta, the MARTA, and a system in Albuquerque and Cleveland. And I said to her, you don't even have to go that far. You can just go to Pinecrest down in Miami-Dade, and they have dedicated, separated streets for their bus rapid transit system. They had their own special signaling. I mean, we sat there in the vehicle lanes of traffic, stalled in traffic, and watched them. They go right on through, and nobody else is allowed in there. No pedestrians, no bicycles, no cars. It must really work because there's a lot of traffic in Pinecrest. So anyway, and the second interesting thing that they talked about was, not that it's a good topic, but it was about the fatalities and the fatality rates and how they differed year over year, and serious injuries. But the one about fatalities that I thought was interesting, and I asked them why, was because the years between 2020 and 2022, particularly 20 and 2021, the fatalities were through the roof. And I said, well, how could that be? Because we were under COVID restrictions. And they said they had analyzed it, and it was because there were less vehicles on the streets because of people working from home. And those vehicles were going very fast. And as a result, when there was a crash, bam, a fatality. So
Sandy, that's very interesting.
I
We could use that in our turnpike battle.
I thought that, a lot of it was extremely interesting, and it generated a huge amount of discussion amongst those 6 of us that were still there. But we asked that those kind of topics could at least be brought up to the front of the agenda. So if you're going to be there and you can get something out of this that we could actually take away for something that we're doing here. And I do have a question of Sheila, the Safe Streets, the SSA4, SS4A, the federal grant, are we going to be, I'll, in the summary, I'll forward it to Karen and she can forward it to you, and you can see, are we going to be able to piggyback on that? Because that's where they said cities could accumulate large projects in applying for. And I was thinking about our Lyons Road improvement north of the Sawgrass, just like we've already done south of the Sawgrass, if that's something that would be applicable.
Well, I can offer good news on that. The Lyons Road project north of the Sawgrass is actually under the county's jurisdiction, and it is funded in the county's 5-year surtax plan. It is supposed to be implemented this year. So they have committed to move forward with that. They're just not moving as fast as they originally committed. That's a county facility, so it wouldn't be eligible for federal money. But
Okay.
I'm certainly interested in what you have to share.
Well, maybe we'll get that Lyons Road projects quicker than we've gotten that synchronization for the traffic signals, because they had a fellow that retired from there, and he was now he's with at the MPO, and he was telling there are 1,800 traffic signals in the county. And I was thinking, well, if they could just fix some through our city, we'd be happy. That's all I have.
That's the bane of us.
And happy early birthday, Commissioner Brody. Don't say the number.
I got a quick question for staff, whether it's Karen or Terrell to answer. And this is on the piggyback of Sandy's comment about what happened with the appointments today. I guess my question is a couple fold. I saw the group that's for the middle cities. I'm curious, 2 things. What happens if one of those individuals, I understand it's a 2-year term, but I can tell you right now, one of those individuals that is appointed is termed out. That's up for election. So it's interesting that was the seat. So I'm just curious, the procedure for how to advocate.
I just want to insert something.
No, I'm
Because in my stump speech, I was going to end it by saying, I believe so much in serving on this committee that I've already signed up for reelection for 2025.
So I like that. I guess my question is more technical in nature, and I'll direct it to the city attorney. I would like to be educated on what needs to happen if and when a position is available for the city, whoever's representing the city, to advocate for that position. So if someone's termed out, I just want to know it's important Coconut Creek has a seat. So I'm just curious. There's a number of moving parts that can probably get us on it. I just want to have a deeper conversation about that, or they're a large city, or for everyone to be educated about that. So that's Tara, I'll put that on your shoulders. Okay.
Okay, I think generally, but I will confirm, I think generally speaking, what will happen is that group, whether it be the large cities, middle cities, or the small cities, will vote again to nominate a representative to the executive committee, but I will confirm and get back.
I think this is something that we need to see coming, and we need to advocate for it. And I'm happy to help. So I just want clear direction on that. The Coconut Creek needs a seat at that table. So real quick, the other question I have for you, Terrell, is the decorum policy. When are you bringing that before us?
So I believe it's a joint effort between my office as well as the city manager's office, but I'm not sure. I know the deadline to get it on for the October 26th meeting passed this past Monday. So most likely it will be on for that first meeting in November.
Thank you.
The 9th.
Couple issues real quick. Just really, this is a conversation piece. Really disappointed in the ambassador meeting this evening. And I think we as a commission need to maybe listen. I know we gave clear direction to staff to let's do it every month. Maybe we break it up a little bit. And I say it because maybe we merge some topics. Listen, this was a really important topic tonight, but I don't think it had the oomph. I'll go with Wasserman.
I thought that it was the title. It doesn't generate the interest of most individuals just in its name, because I think most people don't know what that means.
Okay, well, I guess my point is this. I'm up for considering maybe spreading it out a little bit. Maybe we do every other month as opposed to every month or something. I'm only saying that because maybe we can merge some topics so it creates a bigger draw. There was more people that work for us than we're here tonight for. And that to me is not effective presentation. And I think Karen's team is candidly doing amazing, putting together these amazing packages, but I don't like tasking them with putting together amazing packages where the oomph isn't there. Fair term, Jeff, I'll steal it. So just food for thought. I don't know the direction of that, but maybe we want to think about spreading it out a little more and maybe doing more in the meetings. That's all.
So if I could add so we have been doing this program now for a year, and we've really covered in that year the really meaty topics. We know we have some more coming up, and there are some that just emerge that we're not necessarily aware of, that become very important topics. So, I think this is something that staff can look at evolving. We do have our 240 ambassadors that we can access and we can, communicate with. So, I think if you give us the flexibility to figure out how to keep this something that has great participation, we will figure it out.
So I thought tonight was the least amount of attendance.
I think it was, and the last attendance was.
I think it's the atmosphere has taken its toll, I think, in the last week. So, but
the last one was a little bit light too. So
Yeah.
our next one, I think our next one is Parks and Recreation, and that's really a good topic.
Yeah.
So we had discussed earlier this evening, let's see what kind of turnout is that, because if it's just continuing to decline, we really need to, do something different to keep that interest
I guess
up.
the answer is I'd be okay with giving you the fluxibility to kind of
Sure.
mix and merge and be creative, not necessarily to the time frame we're expecting, only because it's really important topic, just not what
Right. And if we suspend maybe December's meeting, that would give
Right.
them a chance. to-
Right. There are times of the year that
Yeah.
people, I mean, summertime is rough. People are all vacationing. Holiday time is rough, people are at holidays. And I think by and large, we're such a fortunate city that we don't have so many issues as maybe other larger cities do. That since we do have a base of people that we can call upon when we do have issues, we can customize it and be more responsive to the issues at hand.
So I'm okay with flexibility, Karen. I mean,
Okay.
I think I'm seeing everyone not a little. Sandy.
I did want to ask one of the questions, I did field 2 questions tonight about the landfill and when that next meeting and call to action would be so that and how they get communicated.
Right. That would be something that we would want to gear up for. So maybe rather than having an ambassador program, we're gearing up for that to, what we need from the community to help us.
I think a letter
That's
needs to
important.
go out to all the ambassadors about the meeting being set and make sure that letter gets circulated to us before it goes out. But I
Start
think
using
that's-
them more interactively.
Yeah. So they know. I think a letter, candidly, I have like 5 points. That was my other point to say, let's get a letter out to the ambassadors about that meeting as a placeholder, kind of save the date.
Mhm.
Make sure it goes to all of us before it goes out, please.
Yeah, we could do something to get bodies over there as well.
Okay. As a placeholder, I'm just going to tell you guys, this is information. Put on your calendars, November 6th at 6. Jackie, I kind of stole this idea from you. We're going to do I'm calling it a mayor's forum at the rec center on November 6th at 6, really talking about insurance, mortgage rates, things like that, bringing some local experts to talk about essentially how to save money, possible wind mitigation issues, just things of how Coconut Creek residents more geared to the single family homeowner. I think your program is great, Jackie. And I don't think I have I don't want to say, I think we don't, maybe it's hard to have that long of a program. So I had been talking to, maybe we talk about an hour just to get people thinking about it, how to save some rates. So the program hasn't been fully developed yet, but I wanted to get a placeholder. And a big reason I wanted to get that placeholder on this year was to really activate people to support our state delegation team. They say the biggest thing is these letters. That's what Candace has always said to us. You get real testimonials of, hey, my insurance just went up $3,000. Here's the quote. Here's the bill. I can't do this and this year. That's a real issue in single family homeownership right now. Real, like the quotes I'm getting are crazy. So I just want to do something, and I've reached out to some just local people that it's not promoting business, it's promoting education. So that's going to be November 6th at 6.
How does that roll into Christine's legislative meetings she's having here? Nothing. Okay.
I'm not giving an update. I'm giving a real, the average homeowner who gets that double bill needs to understand, hey, maybe you want to look into getting a loan for windows, because if you get new windows, you're going to be able to drop just concepts to help us. I'm going to reach out to Marty to say there's additional, try to jam in an informational session of how to save money. Really is the purpose of it.
I wasn't able to go to hers. That's why.
Jackie put on a really robust, I give you a lot of credit, Jackie, because that was the brainstorm. And then originally you said, let me invite the whole city to Winmore. And I was like, you know what? That's probably not the best idea. So let me put something together and see if we could just get, the buy-in. And if we get the buy-in here, then I suggest to my colleagues, and the same thing goes on at the community center. So that's that. We're doing, I got a little choked up during the breast cancer proclamation. The walk is, there's always a couple different walks. The Palm Beach walk is the one closest to us this year. It's this Saturday. It's at the Sunset Cove Amphitheater. We're going to be there, John. I appreciate that. I know Jamie put it on Facebook. You don't have to donate. You don't have to do anything. If you want to come walk in the morning, come on to walk. And if you don't come walk, just so you know, Saturday, girls basketball finals starts at the rec center. I can tell you I am a very motivational coach, maybe not the most winningest coach, but motivational. We have 2 teams that are going to be entering the playoffs, and God willing, we're going to move on. So I'll leave it at that. 2 quick things. I'm going to be representing the city tomorrow at the Realtors Mayor Breakfast. And this is a different forum than most. Every city that's participating gets to give a quick stump speech. I think we are going to be the only unique one, because I actually have my daughter helping, and she's going to hand out a little placard talking about the Realtors bus tour. And I'm willing to bet of all the cities presenting, we're the only one that's going to stand up in a room and say, come register and come learn about Coconut Creek. I also think a big draw at the event is the amount of potential residences that are going to be at Main Street. So I think this is a really big event and a good opportunity to highlight Coconut Creek. Sandy, I'm going to ask you to represent the city at JA for the broadband issue. I had a last minute issue come up and I'm not going to be able to be there. So I'd ask you to run that show if that's good with you.
Well, I'm going to be there anyway. So
I know you are, but now you're running the show.
Okay.
So, and I represented the city at a PBA charity event for the Hope Fund, just supporting our first responders and them supporting people that obviously have tragic endings in that line. That's all I have. Oh, the only thing I'll pass out, if you could take one and pass it down. Yeah, there you go, Karen. And give one to Kavanaugh, so it's part of the record. This is the business card of one of the operators. We are going to have our first craft brewery in Coconut Creek.
awesome.
Yeah, so I know we have World of Beer, but they don't craft their own beer. This is Rule G. It's next to Amici's Pizza in the North End. They're hoping to, I appreciate Scott. He indicated he'd reach out and just, talk to them if they have any issues. The build-out's been coming for a while. He's a conductor with the Bright Line. He's opening, this is his life's dream to open up like a little brewery. It's really cool. He specifically said to me, please give this to your colleagues if anyone wants to come get a tour or anything. So I think it's, and yeah, I know you will. No, I know you will. You love, listen, the new businesses, it's great. So I think it's really exciting. We're going to do that. And they have a really big commitment to union workers with mental health issues, railroad workers. It's going to be a really unique concept. So just, that's the information on that. That's all I have. I need a motion. Oh, no. Last thing I want to say, because this is the biggest thing I want to say. I don't know if she's listening. If she is, Commissioner Tooley, if she's listening, obviously I wish her a speedy recovery, but Becky, and I didn't get a chance to say it when Tracy was here, Becky's been a light for this city spearheading breast cancer awareness efforts from the video she did and things of that nature from the car. And I hope she's listening because she was a really big guiding light, not only to my wife when she was in that battle, but to a lot of women in the city. And she's been integral for Tracy and things like that. And I would be remiss if I didn't, when we did this proclamation, say that she has gone above and beyond on this subject for awareness, prevention, and early detection saves lives. And the reason we have those pink lights out there is because Becky fought for them and asked for them. So I just want to give her the appropriate comment on that. I have nothing further. Is there a motion?
Motion.
To adjourn.
To adjourn.